Morning you guys, it's Karen and I have got my NIOD favourites for you today. NIOD. Do you know, I actually asked somebody at the store when I went to their event and even they said that between them they say it differently. Some say NIOD, some say NIOD. So, but I've got my favourites. I had asked you guys if you wanted to know my Deciem favourites. But then when I looked at it, I've got so many that I thought I can easily do my NIOD favourites, my ordinary favourites and my Hylamide favourites now. So today is NIOD and I've got my little list in front of me. If you have been with me a long while, you will recognise this background. This is an old background. These have been up for years, holding my nail polish. My vanity table used to be here and I always sat here for filming, and I actually moved because it kind of cast shadows. So I'm going to see how it goes today because this is not too much movement in this room, and if the lighting is better, I would have to consider moving all these over there, and maybe, I don't know, I think if I put my background here it would just be too dark. But anyway, not your problem, not yours to worry about. So let's get started. You will not be surprised, I'm sure, at my number one favourite. It is this, the Low Viscosity Cleaning Ester. NIOD are expensive, there's no way of getting around that, and I buy this either as a treat or when it's in a set or when it's on special offer. I would love to have this as part of my regular routine, but I use a lot of it and like I said, they're expensive, but I absolutely adore this. It is the only thing I've found that I can put onto one of my reusable cotton things and it just swipes off my makeup so easily. It doesn't matter if it's waterproof mascara, sparkly eyeshadow, liquid lipstick, whatever it is, it just, you don't have to rub at all. It just comes away, it just attracts it to it, and I love it. I just feel like it's a real luxury. I really enjoy my routine when I use this, so that I would say would be my number one favourite. These are not in order, by the way, but if they were, that would probably be number one. Next is the Fractionated Eye Contour Concentrate. This is an interesting one because I would say this is superb value for money because a little goes a long way, and you guys know I don't say that lightly. If something says use a pea-sized amount, I use a tennis ball size amount because I like to use a lot of product in everything, and so I don't say that lightly. You really do only need the tiniest amount and it just goes all over your eye. You know, you can put a tiny little drop and it will cover your whole eye. It's fantastic like that. So it lasts a really, really long time. So although, like I said, NIOD is expensive, but this one will last you a long, long time, a lot longer than I think any other eye creams would, or most eye creams. So that's good about it. But the reason I love it is just how it feels. It feels amazing. It feels super hydrating, really silky. It feels really luxurious. It's just a real nice thing to use. But the interesting thing is I did take pictures when I first tried this, which was a couple of years ago. I took pictures before and after using this for I think maybe 3 months and saw no difference. And I've used this now for 6 months, I'd say, and have looked at the pictures because I was looking at to see if bakuchiol has made any difference. I know I need to do a video, and I still can't see any difference. However, what we've got to remember is I've aged a couple of years, or I've aged 6 months since starting this again, and we don't know what my eyes would look like if I hadn't used it. That's why a lot of my reviews, you guys know, are the ingredients any good? Are they proven? And how does it feel to use? Because I think a lot of does it give you benefits is down to the research. And then a lot of the bit that's important is how does it feel, and does it feel like it's doing something, you know, and do we enjoy using it? Or it is for me anyway. So like I said, my eyes might look even worse not using this. They're not dry underneath, but then I don't think they very often feel dry underneath my eyes. You know, it might have been more preventative by keeping it hydrated, so I don't know, but I do really love it. I have only bought this in a set when it comes in a set or a special offer. So this one I bought in there, I think it was an anniversary sale or a Black Friday sale, something like that, and there was a really, really good offer on. So I'm happy when this comes in a set, but it's not something I specifically buy for my routine. If I bought all of these NIOD products to use regularly, it would cost me £200 or £300 a month, and I just don't have that to spend on skincare, unfortunately. I wish I did. So I buy this when it comes up special offer or in a set. So I'll link for you a set that's called set 1 that has Low Viscosity Cleaning Ester. It has this in it. It has the MMHC, which is the hyaluronic acid, which I haven't got to talk about in here because I like it, but it's not a favourite. I actually preferred the older formula. The one they've got out now is like version 2, and I liked version 1. But it's still nice, it's still good. So you get LVCE, MMHC, a little bottle of this, but like I said, although it's a tiny bottle, it will last you a long time, and you get the photography fluid. I'm going to be talking about the photography fluid here. Number 3 is hydration vaccine. I just adore this. This is the big tube. I wish that they did a smaller size tube, because I only bought the tube because I don't like their jar packaging. I really don't like it at all. I know that they've got a spoon now, or they've always had a spoon, but to me, I'd have to then wash the spoon, and you know, it just doesn't work for me, the jar packaging. And so I spent the extra money on getting the hydration vaccine. I think, did I buy this? I'm pretty sure I bought this. I don't think this is one of the things I was given when I was at the event, because I was given the voicemail mask. But again, this is something that you don't need very much of. It's not quite as, you know, you don't need that tiny amount, and that would cover your face and neck, but that little pea-sized amount would probably cover your face, and then another pea-sized amount for your neck, and it just feels divine. I would say this is the nicest feeling my skin has of any product I've ever used. So after using this, my skin just feels like silk, and it also feels quite matte. I know that doesn't really make sense, but it doesn't feel greasy, it doesn't feel clogged up, it just feels really hydrated and kind of like it seals everything else in underneath it. I just adore this. I use this as a night cream. Number 4 is the non-acid acid precursor, and I love this. I have bought, I would say, 95% of the Deciem items over the years, but I've been occasionally sent a couple of items, and then I was given a lot of items on the store opening event in Edinburgh. And this, I think, is one of the items that I was sent, not this particular bottle, because I think I would only spend the money on it knowing now how good it feels. I don't often take a chance and spend a high amount of money on skincare without first trying it. And this I got sent and was like, wow, I love it. This is supposed to be used instead of using an exfoliator. It's just a different way. It's using different ingredients to be much more gentle. And so I didn't expect much from it, but it's another one of those products that when you put it on, your skin feels amazing, and it feels amazing the next day as well. And you know, I was just saying that about this, so it sounds a bit like, oh yeah, I'm sure you say that about everything, but those of you that know me, I'm not the type of YouTuber that comes on and says everything is amazing. I'm actually really hard to please. And I would say, well, there's one other item I'm going to talk about there that does give a very similar feeling, but in a different way. But these two, certainly, I feel the difference on my skin. There's these two, and I used to say it about the Clarins, the oils, and there was one other product I used, and I can't for the life of me think what it is now. But like in 10 years, I would say there's these two, the Clarins oil and the one other that I can't even think of, that have just made a real difference to how my skin feels. And this one, I put it on, and I don't feel like I'd even need to put anything else on top of it. I always do, because it is just a serum, but it just, again, it feels very silky going on, and your skin immediately feels lovely. And I feel like when I use this for a few days, my skin just feels a bit more supple and a bit brighter somehow. And yeah, I loved it so much after being sent it that I did buy another bottle. And again, it's expensive, but to me, this is worth it. It's definitely worth it. It really feels good. I would say put it on your Christmas list or treat yourself to a bottle and you'll love it. Next is the voicemail mask. And this is the one that I said was moving into that category of making my skin feel amazing. I'd asked for a sample of this at the store opening, and they were very kind and gave me this whole jar. I don't know whether you can buy this in other packaging, because it's very, very runny. Like, I could pour this out. It's very liquidy. But I tried it that night and woke up the next morning and thought, oh yeah, my skin feels lovely and soft, and kind of didn't pay any attention to it. And I've used it a couple of times since, and I love it. By the way, it's got a very odd smell. It's like sort of pepper or basil. It's kind of a cooking smell, a herby smell. And this is a combo night mask, night cream / face mask. I've never been into face masks because I've never found any that were amazing, or I found some that were amazing, but the effects I felt lasted 5 minutes, and then, you know, your skin felt amazing, but then as soon as the day went on or you put some makeup on, it didn't last. But with this, you wake up feeling like your skin, it feels actually like it does when you use this. This is the non-acid precursor that I just spoke about. That's what your skin feels like. It feels super baby soft and really sort of springy. And I felt that that lasted, you know, like my skin felt great for the whole day. I don't know whether it lasted longer than that, but it certainly felt like it was doing something. So this has kind of converted me to masks, even though it's a bit of a night cream. So I love that. That was what, number 5. Number 6 is the Photography Fluid Tan Opacity 8%. So it's really important to say that it's the 8% and the tan opacity, because there's two. There's the 12%, which is the highlighter one, and this one, which is not a highlighter, it's a tan. So let me just pop that on there. It's not so easy sitting here. I might be able to film me using this, and I have got too much tan on my hands. I over tanned, so you might not see it that great. But this is just one of those kind of bronzing fluids that can be used in several ways. There's 2 ways that I use it, and 1 way that I'm thinking of using it. I have tried it where I put it on underneath foundation, I don't really get the point of that because it never really shows through. You know, it's like Radiance primers. Did they really show through your foundation? Only if you're wearing a really, really light foundation. But I have added this into a foundation, and it does just warm it up a bit. You know, when I'm really pale and I haven't self-tanned, if I put a drop of this in with my foundation, it just gives me a bit more warmth. My favourite way to use it is just on, what's the brush I use? It's a Zoeva one. I'll try and put a picture on the screen. It's a Zoeva one, and I put a couple of drops of this on and just use it kind of at the top here as a bronzer, and it just looks so natural, I feel like. Actually, I've thought of another way I use it as well, is if I'm not wearing makeup, I sometimes put a bit of this on, and again, it just makes you look healthier. And I wondered about using this on days where I haven't self-tanned, because for me, self-tanning now is a bit of a pain because of the wrinkles in my neck. I have to put it on during the day, so I have to do it on a day where I don't need to wear makeup. And so I thought, I wonder if I could put it on my neck and then just wear a foundation that matched. Because I know that's what a lot of people are kind of tanned up to their face, aren't they? And they just put a darker foundation on. So I don't know, but I just love it. It's so natural looking. And again, you don't need very much of this. Like, I sometimes use this by taking it out, getting rid of anything that's inside it, and just dotting it, you know, just like wiping a tiny little bit on top of the brush, and that's enough. And it's taken me a while to learn to not use too much, otherwise you just look ridiculous, but I love that. I wish that one was included in the little set, because I'd probably repurchase that little set a lot, because like I said, it's got the low viscosity cleaning Ester, the eye serum, the MMHC, and then if it had the tan one, I can see me repurchasing it. So just a note on the 12%, I do have the 12% because it came in a set. I just don't use it very often. If I do, I put a drop in with foundation to brighten me up, but I haven't found it nice enough for me to remember to do that, if it makes sense. I can have it sitting in my makeup bag and just forget to use it, and I'm not really somebody that does any highlighting, so I don't dislike it, but it's just not one I use very much. Number 7 I don't actually have, and it is the Superoxide Dismutase Mist. Saccharide is in there somewhere as well. I can't remember the full title of it. That's another item I was sent. It's one that I've always wanted to try, but again, didn't really want to. The reason I didn't want to spend the money on that one was because of the smell, because smell is a big thing to me, and if something smells really bad, I'm not going to be able to use it, you know. And there's a lot of comments saying that it smells horrible. But I did look a little bit into the research of the ingredients, and it does look like a good thing to use, and so I was sent it, and I have to say I really, really enjoyed it, but mine had no scent at all, or it had a nice scent, if anything. And so I really enjoyed using it. I was really surprised. I used it every day, which I was surprised at. You know, for me to use something every day, it's got to be adding something. Like, I'm really lazy. Like, I don't use a primer, and I want to, but unless I find one that's just amazing, I don't bother, you know, it just doesn't stay in my head. And I was using that every day. I was like, oh, I'll use my mist, you know, and I don't know what it contributed to my skincare, whether it was just a nice step or not, but I did really enjoy it. But like I said, I'm a bit scared to buy another one because of the scent, because I think it's obviously varied. It's a real shame they don't do like travel sizes for us to buy, you know, for a bit more of a reasonable price, so that you can try something out, because there are a lot of things like the non-acid precursor and the voicemail mask that I would have bought travel size and probably gone on to spend the money on the full size, you know. Okay, next is the final product I've got to show you. Then I'm talking about one that's new out, a little accessory, and 2 fails for me. So this is the Survival 30, and I love this. This is just a great day SPF. It's a really nice colour. It's a colour that kind of disappears when you put it on. You barely notice it. And it's just one that I have repurchased quite a few times. I have spent the money on this. It's just a really nice day cream. Sits well under makeup, isn't greasy. Really enjoy the Survival 30. I like the Survival Zero as well, but it didn't do enough for me to want to spend the money on that again. So that's number 8, but number 9 is these tops. You can buy these from NIOD, and they also fit onto the ordinary bottles. And so I've bought a few. I think they're like 80p, and you just pop them in, and that's, you've got a pump bottle. So I love that, having a glass bottle, and I've got a pump on the top that you can just, you know, close. Really, really love that. Number 10 is something that I think I might buy today, but it is so expensive that I just think, are you going to spend that money on it? It's £70 for 15ml. And I would say that's probably the most I've ever spent on skincare for something that is so small. But it's the copper amino isolate lipid. And we had a tester of that at the store opening. He had a little pot and he went around putting a little bit on everybody's hand. So I haven't felt it on my face. It's a real healing product. From what I remember when I did the review of the copper amino isolate serum, I didn't find any benefits from using the serum. I know a lot of people did, but I did find evidence for it being very healing. And I loved the feel of that, the lipid that they put on. So I'm really tempted to give that a go and review it for you guys. But it's just, that's just wow. You would hope that you would only need the tiniest amount, you know, that it would be like the eye serum, that you wouldn't need much and it would last you a long, long time. Let me know if anybody's used it. That's all my favourites, but I've got 2 fails to talk about here. And these were just, they were fails for me. It doesn't mean that they will necessarily be a fail for you, because there's a lot of people that love both of these ingredients, both of these products. The first one is the flavanone mud. It's a face mask. It's one you put on and leave on for not long. I think you're supposed to leave it on for 5 minutes or so. And I used it and it stung like hell. Like, it just was hurting my face. I couldn't keep it on for long enough. And I didn't really see any difference when I took it off, but probably because I didn't leave it on for long enough. I just thought, something that's making my face feel like that. I felt like I wanted to scratch it, you know, and it was stinging. And I was like, no, I've got to get this off. And I tried it quite a few times over, you know, I had it for months before I just went, no, this is just not working for me. And a lot of people swear by that. And I can imagine that if you can not bear through, but if you don't get as much stinging as me, so if you maybe get a bit of tingling, it's obviously doing something. It will, you know, certainly bring the blood to your face, and I can imagine your skin would look lovely after using it if you could keep it on for the required time. But it's just one that didn't work for me. The second one that didn't work at all for me was the modulating glucosides. That is NIOD, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. The smell was horrible. The bottle I got just smelled really, really horrible, and it really put me off using it. But the other thing was, I didn't see any difference. I didn't like the feel of it going on. I didn't see any difference. It just wasn't a product that was a pleasure to use. So that one didn't work for me either. But, you know, that's pretty good considering how many products did. I was surprised when I came to write my list for this video. I thought I'd have 4 or 5 products. So I'm surprised that I've got 9 products there, not including the little cap. Damn it, because they're just so expensive. Never mind. So I hope that was useful to you. I hope that was interesting to you. Let me know what your favourites are. Don't think there's anything else on my list that I'm desperate to try from them, to be honest. Yeah. That's everything. Let me tell you what my makeup is. I have got on the No7 Foundation drops in Warm Ivory. I've got on the Too Faced Chocolate Bar Too Faced Chocolate Bar Gold palette. This is a colour called, I think it's the one called Hola for $1. I just fancied a real kind of a more striking look, even though I know this makes my eyes look smaller, yada yada yada. On my cheeks I have got the Nabla Cosmetics blush in Regal Mauve. On my lips is that little Stila liquid lipstick from last year's Christmas collection. I think it's called Sugar Cookie. This jumper is from Zara. Love these jumpers. You'll see me in these all the time. I've got them in black, cream, yellow, blue, pink. I've got them pretty much in every colour. What earrings am I wearing? These are River Island. I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll speak to you again soon. Even if they did work, even if masks were, oh my God, Karen, rambling.